Let's hear from UNI Athletic Director David Harris, who just signed a new contract extension to remain at UNI. Sports Director Rick Coleman is with David Harris, who's wrapping up his 4th year as the head of Panther Athletics.
You've been here almost 4 years, and I know you've been aggressive in every avenue of athletics, not only athletics, academics, the facilities, and also the fiscal part of it, which you're just mentioning here. And you've done a great job progressing the program. Now, you have a 5-year contract, and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
New 5-year extension. Now, what is your vision for the next 5 years for Northern Iowa Athletics?
Well, our vision is really laid out in a strategic plan that we started last year, and that's about really achieving unprecedented success. So if you look at our vision statement, it says, with an emphasis on the student-athlete experience, UNI Athletics will achieve unprecedented success in academics, competition, and all of its endeavors. So ultimately, that's what we're focused on. How do we make sure our student-athletes are having a great experience, to make sure that when they come to the university, they're getting their degree, they're able to play for a championship, they feel like they're cared for as an individual, they feel like once they leave the university, they would recommend it to other people, other prospective student-athletes, and that one day, if they're financially able, or when they're financially able, that they would want to give back to the university that's given something to them. And so by focusing on the student-athlete experience, we feel like that'll be the result. And then focusing on unprecedented success, so academics, competition, finances, community, facilities, trying to do things that haven't been done before, trying to achieve things that haven't been done before. We feel like that's sort of the program that was handed to us, a program that had a lot of success, and with each kind of leadership team that takes over a department, you want to feel like you've pushed the envelope a little bit further. You've done a little bit more, you have advanced the cause of the program a little bit further, and so we've made it our goal to try to strive for unprecedented success and do things that are new and that are different, and that our people can really get excited about and understand we're really trying to have great success for them and for our student athletes.
And you really have achieved that, especially on the student athlete side, in terms of academics. I saw a statistic where the student athletes at Northern Iowa consistently rank above the general student population in terms of academics, grade point average, and the way they excel in the classroom. And with the demands on their time through athletics, you wouldn't think that would be possible, but it is.
They do a great job. Our head coaches do a great job of bringing in student athletes that are capable of doing the work. Our student athletes do a great job of taking their academics seriously. And then we have a great academic support program led by Stacia Eggers. She works with Andrea Grieve Coelho and Jaden Spencer. The three of them together are our student support program, and they work with all of our student athletes across all of our sports, trying to make sure that whether it's advising or study hall or tutoring or assistance with learning disabilities or whatever their needs are, connecting them with faculty members, making sure that everything is the way that it needs to be, and also challenging them, right? Making sure that they understand that while we're there to help them, the work has to be done by them, and making sure that they understand every day they have to come ready to be able to perform in the classroom the same way they do from an athletic standpoint. And so much of the success that we have, as you talked about, from a grade point average, I think it's 19 semesters in a row that the GPA has been higher than the GPA of the student body. We have our eyes set on having a 3.2 GPA as a department. Last semester, I believe we were at a 3.18. So we're creeping up on it. We've never had a 3.2 before, so that'd be another one of those unprecedented marks that we're trying to achieve. And we continue to work every day to try to make that happen.
Now, in your time here at Northern Iowa, I know most of your work previously had been at major universities. I'm thinking that in terms of athletics and the size. And now you come to what is considered a mid-major school, and being in a leadership role and still having that success. Well, what kinds of things did you know that you had to do to be successful?
I think more than anything, it's about people. It's about having the right people. And fortunately for me, a lot of the right people were already here. And so having success here is really a continuation of something that started before we ever got to the university. So it's trying to help those people have the resources that they need to have success. I don't look at it as being anything about me or any plan that I'm putting in place or anything along those lines. My biggest job is to try to help them, support them, give them the resources so that they can go out and win. They can go out and support their student athletes. They can help them academically, trying to get them the facilities that they need to be able to function in and be able to recruit to, and giving them every opportunity that we can to shine as coaches, as head coaches, assistant coaches, and as student athletes. And I feel like that is the case no matter where you are. You can be at Iowa State, Iowa, UNI, you can be Power 5, you can be FBS, you can be FCS, it really doesn't matter. If you don't have good people, you're gonna struggle. If you have good people, then it's just a matter of trying to craft a structure and a vision that fits your department, that fits your university, and then giving people the resources they need to have success. And so that's what we've tried to do and we'll continue to try to do.
Do you look 5 years in the future, or do you look next week or next month? How do you?
Yes.
How do you
The answer is yes. In this position, you have to do both. You have to be looking 5 years, 10 years, 15 years into the future, but you can't ignore what's right around the corner, because both of those things are going to be on your plate. Both of those things could come walking through the door at any particular time. You know the things that are urgent are always going to come walking through the door, but you never know when something that may impact the next 5 to 10 to 15 years, an opportunity may also come through the door that you have to be ready to capture. Or on any given day, you're trying to create opportunities that are going to have a long-term impact. And so while much of your day-to-day can be spent doing the things that have to be done immediately, there's an old saying, don't let the urgent crowd out the important. And that's really true in these jobs, because the things that are urgent are always going to come knocking on your door, but you got to be able to see through that to understand this is where I really need to be spending my time. If I'm going to do the job that they've asked me to do here, it's about trying to set a vision for where we're going to be going forward. And if you get so bogged down on what's happening day to day, then you can't do that. So you have to have a good balance, and you have to have good people around you, a good balance of let's make sure we're taking care of today, but you more than anybody else in your organization have to be looking 5 years down the road about how can we capture some opportunities that'll make tomorrow better.
I was thinking, you're in an environment in this state, North Dakota State doesn't necessarily have to deal with it. Mm-hmm. South Dakota State maybe a little bit with South Dakota, but they don't have to deal with a major university in their state. You have to deal with two here, where some weekends, some nights, you're fighting for the same dollars. How do you get beyond that? How do you find ways to make it happen here?
I think in many ways you have to try to find what's unique about your program, what's unique about your university, and try to attract people that are interested in what you offer that's different than what other programs offer. So one of the things about UNI, I mean, we're the only program within the state that has the Unidome. So we know we're playing all of our games in air-conditioned comfort. That's a pretty convenient thing to be able to have.
Or when it gets cold outside.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Or in heated comfort, as the case may be. And so we feel that we're playing at the FCS level, but at the same time, when you look at the players that are playing, both for us and for other teams, you're going to see these young men playing on Sundays. So you're going to see really high quality play. If you look at the prices to come to our events, I think they are in a much better position than anybody that we're competing with within the state. So that's a good thing. If you look at ease of getting into our arenas and getting out, getting into parking, getting out, we try to make the experience as easy as we possibly can. And you also look at, with the size of our university, the size of the department, we really want to emphasize relationships. So doing things like the Panther Caravan, getting out into the community, trying to get to know people in a really personal way. Those are things that are done by other universities, but I think just based on our size, it gives us a chance to be able to have a stronger, more in-depth relationship with the people who support us. And so you try to build around some of those pillars, some of the things that you know are a little bit different for us than they are in those other places, because you're right, we're not in a state where we're seen as the number one option, where you might be in some other states where we're competing against those schools and they're the only school in the state, or they're one of two, or they're the flagship. We're in a different role as a university, which means we're in a different role as an athletics department. But that doesn't mean we can't have success. It doesn't mean that we won't have success. It just means that the people who really support us are really committed. They really value what it is that we put out there, and they like what's different about UNI.
And thanks to David Harris and KWWO Sports Director Rick Coleman for the interview.